The Hangout is live. All right, ready? Three, two, one. Welcome everyone again to the Last Mark Standing podcast on iTunes and SoundCloud.com. I am your host, Damian Sawlty G, along with my tag team partner in crime, the Marky Smark Trina. Hey everybody. So we're trying something new today. We're actually live doing a Google Hangout. Hopefully we don't look too stupid or too ridiculous. But we want to try something different because we want to expand and do more video and more content where people could actually see our reactions to things and see my facial expressions and Trina's facial expressions whenever we talk about in-depth topics that we're passionate about or dorkily happy about, as we'll get to later. Yeah, well, I mean, people have seen your face on Batman, and they've seen our faces on Twitter, I guess, through our photos. But at the very least, you see how we react. You get to experience. You can always deactivate the little button down here that takes away the picture if it makes you feel better. No, okay, now we got our first ghetto talk of the day. Great. We'll save the commentary speak about Moro and his pop culture for later. But okay, I just want to get into talking about, and we talked off air, not about nitpicking Raw, not about nitpicking SmackDown, because this was the kickoff of the new era. We're not going to talk Battleground. That was on Sunday. We're now recording this on a Wednesday night. So let's start fresh with the fact that we got a lot of good wrestling this week so far. Monday was great wrestling. Yesterday, great in ring product. And yet, for some reason, people in the IWC are complaining. Oh, yes. For those that don't know, the IWC is not an Olympic federation. It is the Internet Wrestling Community, otherwise known as the people that all internet writers like to complain about because we're never happy. Now, I got to take you out of task, IWC, because normally I'm a chill dude and I don't really go too far into left field. But what do you want? You can't have it both ways. People are complaining Finn got pushed too fast. People are complaining Sasha won the belt on Raw and not on SummerSlam. People are complaining that SmackDown had a battle royal and that Dolph Ziggler's now the number one contender for the WWE Championship. What do you want, people? Let me know. Tell me now, like I'm Miss Cleo. Tell me now, rest in peace. What do you want? Yeah, Miss Cleo died. For anyone that doesn't know, she did. What was it, yesterday? She died. She should have saw that coming, unfortunately. She should have saw that coming, you know? Yeah, that's what I. By the way, I'm a little annoyed at you and Mikey for comparing me to Eva Marie yesterday. No, bad team. You guys are bad friends. Let me tell you that right now because I saw her and I kept thinking. First thing I thought was, did she have work done on her face? Is it okay? Because it looked like she had plastic surgery, so I don't know. But anyway, I digress. What does the IWC want, Tina? Trina, sorry, Tina. I'm so yeah. Eva Marie got me all twisted. I'm taking out letters and syllables. Seriously, what do they want? Like they got what they wanted. They got Finn pushed. They got Sasha's title. They got in-ring wrestling on SmackDown. They got a new number one contender for the WWE title that for years they've been complaining about, but they're still not happy. Why? Couple haters. Are you serious? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So that's all it is. It's just nitpicking. Right. And that's the beauty of it all. We got great in ring product. Those fatal four ways on Monday were amazing. Mhm. Did you think that Tuesday SmackDown was predictable? Hmm. 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 No one did because everybody thought Bray was going to win. And I thought that was the best part. SmackDown in and of itself is sort of a proving ground for people. You know, Bray's trying to prove that Bray can be a main event talent. Dean's trying to prove that he can hold on to the title. You have Baron Corbin, you have Dolph Ziggler, you have Apollo Crews. These are all people with something to prove. All the women's wrestlers that shoehorned into that one segment, which really ticked me off. It was like 10 women in one segment, and there was no pop for Carmella. There was barely any pop for Alexa Bliss. But some of these people don't know. These are the people who view the WWE product that isn't on the network don't know a lot of who these people are. Yeah, I was kind of annoyed by that. Like, how do you not know? How do you not know who Finn Balor is? Mhm. Right. I mean, you did give them free network subscription, so that was cool. So big shout out to you and the guys from Lay If the Mat Down. You know. Okay, so let's focus on the in-ring portion since that's what you and I really loved. The Fatal Four Ways, I thought were well done. They thought they were well choreographed. I thought it was well timed. I loved the fact that KO and Sammy were involved in one. I like that Cesaro was actually included because, you know, if you're going to do a wrestling type thing, you might as well have one of the best wrestlers on the roster be a part of it. And the best part was, and I hate to say this, Stephanie ripping Roman a new one in the beginning and just Mick Foley just staying quiet. just sitting there and thinking it. Is that what we're calling it? The Passion of the Reigns? Nice. So he's dead? Okay. Now I'm thinking, wait, has the long hair? Uh-huh. No, no. He persecuted by the IWC. Okay, so basically, oh my God, Roman Reigns is Jesus. Did you? Well, yeah. Plus the pantsing hair flip always helps. It's fine. Okay, so aha, you remember that joke with the pantsing hair flip? Exactly. It's all slow motion and like Stifler's mom esque and things like that. It's fine. Okay. Do you think they pushed Finn too fast? Yeah. Hmm. Okay. Me personally, no, no, I know exactly what you're saying, but here's and I'm gonna get a little salty, and I apologize ahead of time. It's my job, but I do see what everyone has been saying about Finn being quote unquote too small. Because when you stand him up next to Rollins, he looked tiny. So I made the comment that I think I told this to Mattman on Twitter. I said that Finn looks like a generic jobber because he has the basic black boots, the basic black trunks, but he's pale and he's got a beard. So he just looks like a really fit jobber compared to everyone else on the roster. But he had red trunks at least, not black. Please no. They should not make that dual comparison. It's too completely. Mhm. Really? Okay, well, let's do this. If you're making the Daniel Bryan comparison, I'll give you that. But you said there's something about Finn Balor, right? So if you're watching, you've never seen Finn Balor before in your life, the first two things you're going to notice: one, his leather jacket; two, his abs. Let's be honest here. That's like, holy crap, who's that dude with abs? No jobber looks like that. What jobbers look like that? That should tell you right there. He's not a jobber. Unlike that dude on Smack, what was it? That fought Braun Strowman that had no chin. He jobs so well, he has no chin. That's he can do any kind of non-bone job. I don't understand that. It's like, oh wow, that's offensive to Steve Buscemi. The God, I'm just thinking about Braun Strowman now. Thanks a lot, Trina. Yeah, I don't know what the hell that haircut was, and all he did was scream in his intro theme song. I was like, oh, what, why are we screaming? Why are we screaming, Braun? Why are you angry? Like, does he have diarrhea? I don't understand. Mhm. Like the boogeyman, literally. Like, who is this creepy man that's going to kill people? Okay, what? Okay. What do you think about the fact that we have jobbers back? Because I kind of digged it. I digged it. I mean, and think about the two people they picked to be in the jobber realm. They picked Naya and they picked Braun, from what I remember. So they picked the two quote unquote hosses to be in squash matches. Right. Okay, I love the jobber aspect, but I'm gonna hit you with again. I don't hate Naya. I don't hate Nia Jax. I'm rooting for Nia Jax. But somebody brought it up to me on Twitter. I think it was the Masked Fan that she needs to get a little bit more limber because she moves a little stiff in the ring. No, but I don't even think it has to do with her weight. I just think she moves a little stiff. Like she's still a little clumsy. Well, no, I mean, like, does she move like the Big Show in 1996? No. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And people hate the Big Show. So what does that say? Uh, I don't know. Let's take a look here. Guys, just bear with us right now. You're gonna hear this on the actual podcast, so just deal for 5 seconds. Okay. Wait. Oh, okay. I see this message here. Is anyone here? That's you. Duh. I don't know. I can't see a YouTube link. This is the best show ever because it keeps. That's fine. We're making it up as we go along. People, just deal with us for 5 seconds. It's okay. We're not bad people. We promise. Audio. All right. Let's see here. We'll edit this all in post. Shout out to Mikey, who's gonna have his hands full with this one. Okay, it's live. I see live. Mm, they see me. I could see me on YouTube. Yeah. It's embedded. Let me. Did you hear that? Shit. Pardon my French. Am I streaming live now? um, let's see. This is say what now? Oh yeah, we're so great. Aren't you awesome? I don't like that. No, I don't want to be looked at. Who's Sean? Oh, mm-hmm. Can you send me the YouTube link? Yeah. Who is blowing me up on my phone right now? Oh jeez. All right. People complaining like, why are we only seeing Damian's face? Great. Yes, people are complaining that they're only seeing my face and not yours. I don't, but I don't want to be the only one they see. I wish we had someone that actually knew what they were doing, because that would have been nice. But hold on, me, yes, no, no. I'm just hitting everything now. It's like, you get a slap, and everyone gets a slap. Yeah, I'm pulling you. I'm pulling a you now. I'm about to abort this mission in a second. We're sorry, guys, because I know, because Eli was like, where are you? Uh, message Fujine. Hey, I followed that thing you sent me to the T. Okay. Oh no! Ah! Any luck? Great. You tweeted on my face. That's always nice. This is fun. I'd like to apologize to everyone. Man, listen, we've tried, okay? We're trying here. And I'm looking at my ugly ass face. Thank you, everybody. All right. Okay, so I hear me on a delay. I hear me on a 10-second delay. So I guess YouTube is just streaming at a 10-second delay. Yeah, we're on 10-second delay. Help! It's amazing. It's technologically advanced. Like a Google what? Mm-hmm. Good. Well, that sucks. Okay. Bye, Trina. They've left me all alone. Anything? I don't want it to be my face. This is the, I want to be like, you know, I just like the fact that I hear you laughing maniacally in the background. There's 3 viewers. I don't know how that happened, but YouTube link. No. Again, I see me on YouTube, which is really scary, but why is my ugly face on this? Hold on. Ay, ay, ay. Isn't it? All right, I'm about to scrap this in about 2 minutes, and we're just gonna. You know what we could do? We could just record it as a video and then upload it to YouTube later for people to watch, and then make and give it to Mikey to actually just do his magic. Because I'm like this. I feel bad. I feel bad for you. I feel bad for me. I feel bad for my mama. So let's just put it that way. I don't. I see you. Hi, Trina. Hi, Trina. I can't hear you. Hi, Trina. Trina, can you hear me? There she goes. I can hear you.
Yay.
All right. I solved one problem, and there's a lot more light now, so that's good.
People are getting to watch. Okay. Moderated video call. So you I think, are you the moderator?
Is that what I'm doing? Okay, what do I have to do?
Hang on. So it says that we're on a moderated, so you have control.
How do I give you control? That sounds wrong. Because I hear you on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
I see you on YouTube.
Oh, you see me?
Yeah, I see
Yay!
you.
No, I do see me. Yay! Okay.
So how the hell did that happen?
I also see me. Now, what about you?
I took my picture off. Maybe I was thinking I was ruining it or something. All right, hold on. Let me put my face. All right. Well, I see. There we go. Boom. All right, I'm back.
Okay.
All right.
I'm still the only one on YouTube.
How the hell do I? Fine, that's fine with me. I don't care. Put yourself on YouTube. I don't care. How the
Okay,
hell?
hang on. Can they hear you?
Yeah, they hear me after the fact. Like we're on a delay, so I hear it in the background on YouTube.
Okay. All right. So you'd rather they look?
Yeah, they hear me.
All right. Perfect.
I don't know how we're gonna switch between me and you during this, but all right, whatever. We'll make it work. I don't care.
Okay.
All right. So where the hell were we? All right. So after the 4,000 technical difficulties, I want to welcome everybody back to the Last Mark Standing podcast on iTunes and on Twitter and on SoundCloud.com. This is amazing.
Technology, people.
Yeah, it's amazing, isn't it? It's great.
Okay. Okay, so we were talking about people complaining about Damian is presenting to everybody.
Did you become the moderator all of a sudden?
Ooh, look at this. There's like new buttons now.
Yeah.
Damian presenting.
What am I presenting?
Ooh.
Beside me.
Okay, well, let me pull the YouTube thing up so I can see this. I love that people are sticking around for this.
All I love is that I see you holding your hair with your hand.
I know, because I can't decide whether I want it up or not, and it's like, so it's just kind of like this. Okay, live. Okay, my hair is still up on the YouTube video. Hide participants.
Now it's down. Now you're just flopping it down.
Now I'm Roman Reigns-ing.
You're Roman Reignsing?
Yes. See?
Yeah. Now you're just doing the panty and hair flip.
Yeah. Okay. Because my hair is like not on point. So.
Okay, everybody, if you can help us out and let me know how I can be on YouTube just as much as Trina is, even if it's just my voice, just let me know. So, okay, let's try to get back to the broadcast.
Woo!
What just happened? What are you wooing? What are you wooing?
I was able to switch to you versus me, but I don't know if that really does anything for people.
I think they'd rather look at you than me. That's just me. I see you again. There we go.
All right, let's just do it. Let's do it.
Okay, so someone on YouTube said, we have to see the match between Zack Sabre Jr. and Dux. Apparently it's amazing.
So I have to say, so this is my first time seeing Zack Sabre Jr. My hair is really gross. I think I should put it back up. And so I think like the issue with him and like Will Ospreay, is that like he's so tiny. Like that's the thing about like Finn, is that Finn is like super tiny, but Zack Sabre Jr. like doesn't even look like he works out.
Yeah, he just looks like a flat person.
Yeah,
that's it.
like he looks like maybe like a lifeguard.
Oh,
that's the amount of working out he does.
Well, like, I'm sure we both work out more than the normal person, but Zack Sabre Jr. probably works out way more than I do. So
like he just has no musculature.
Is that what it is? He has no musculature?
He really doesn't. Like he really doesn't, because like, so I saw him in the ring and I was like, this dude has no muscles. And then when I was like strangely standing next to him and like didn't realize I was standing next to him, like he didn't look like a wrestler. Like he just like looked like a dude. Like just a lifeguard.
So he's basically an extra from Baywatch, is what you're telling me.
Not even, because I feel like the people on Baywatch are like even more ripped.
What's his name? David Hasselhoff? Yeah.
Right. like David Hasselhoff is more ripped than Zack Sabre Jr.
But he can
I feel
still
really terrible now.
he can still work way better than the rest of us can. So you know what? I'm gonna let him slide on that one.
Let me see what's happening here. Are people tweeting you?
No one's tweeting me.
Okay.
Hey guys, we promise that we're gonna try to figure this out one day. We promise.
This is pretty much how it works anyway. Like you and I talk for like 45 minutes, not on air, and then we actually get on air, and then it's.
And then it goes to shit. Yeah.
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 Hang on.
I'm okay with that. It's how we broadcast.
Somebody just tweeted at me. So people are hearing this. Someone just tweeted, the Masked Fan said Dusty Rhodes also did not look like a wrestler, which is true. I mean, so my criticism is that seeing him live, he really didn't look like a wrestler, like even in person, which is not a bad thing. I feel like there's room these days for all different kinds of body types, all different styles of wrestling, because like he does like a lot of like holds and like moves, and he twists you like a pretzel, and that's like a totally different form of wrestling. Like there's nobody in WWE that does that. Oh,
by the way, I meant to tell you, I came up with a new drinking game. Whenever you're watching an event, whenever you see a rest hold, you take a shot.
Oh shit.
Because that pretty much signifies if you're a good worker or not. If you continuously use rest holds, that means you're not a good worker. But if you do them sporadically, you can enjoy the match while having a couple of alcoholic beverages. So yeah, we try to institute that at the MSG house show, because there was rest holds like every 10 minutes, especially when it was Jericho versus Neville. We're like, shot.
Were you guys trashed?
Well, you saw the video at the end of it. Did you think I was trashed?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, thanks, partner. I appreciate that. Yeah. Stumbling on my words. I'm like, yeah, there we go. That's a trained radio host for you guys. I'm all tripping on my words. Okay, so we're back on track now.
Sort of.
I want to go back 2 steps and go back to the internet wrestling community. The fact that we had this great product, we had everything we've ever wanted. We've wanted it to be more of a focus on the superstars and less on promos and the Golden Truth Pokemon Go thing notwithstanding, which I thought was entertaining because it sets up a low-level feud with them and the Shining Stars. That was cool. When the Shining Stars came out, I was offended. And again, for the audience, I'm Puerto Rican, and I'm offended by the Shining Stars because they just are not indicative of what Puerto Ricans really are. They're like the one extreme that like typical Puerto Ricans in New York City think bad Puerto Ricans are, and vice versa. So seeing them get squashed by Enzo and Cass, and I know Treehouse has told me this before, but the sound that Big Cass's boot makes when it slaps somebody upside the head, it's amazing. It sounds like it hurts very much.
No, it's fantastic. It's a great boot.
That's a great boot. Did they sell that DSW? No.
Look at how your face is.
What was that?
I did something. I think your face is now. We're watching YouTube. I'm looking at the YouTube feed, and now people can see your face.
No, nobody wants to see my face, and we only have 2 viewers left. Where did everybody go? But
so it's just It's cutting back and forth. Perfect. I think we did it the right way.
I don't know how we did it, so we'll remember it next time. If anyone has suggestions, I'm open to it. Oh my, Trina just got really close to the camera just now. Okay, so Last Mark Standing podcast, iTunes, SoundCloud.
Restart.
Yeah, this is the reset. You can find us on Twitter at the Last Mark Podcast. The IWC, the internet wrestling community, got exactly what they wanted, and still people are bitching and complaining. I don't understand it. You got good wrestling. You got Sasha versus Charlotte, and the match went 18 minutes on Monday. I was scared for Sasha when she did the the tope suicida, and damn near cracked her neck. And I
know.
I screamed. I literally screamed in my apartment. I went, "No, don't die!" And and she shrugs it off.
They were going hard. I mean, like everybody was. There were a lot of people tweeting that they were going so much harder than usual.
Yeah, definitely.
Which is real. I mean, that's cool. Like, she knows what she's doing. So if it looked like real and it looked like she hurt herself, then she's doing the right thing.
Right. But the match itself, would you put it on the level of everything we've seen in NXT?
No, I mean, I thought it was better.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what made it better?
I think some of the spots were like just like when I thought Sasha was hurt. I thought the spots were a little bit better. I felt like the actual like heat from the crowd was better. It just felt like more big time. Like that's, the thing about an NXT match, as big as an NXT match is, because it's such a small venue and the crowd is so small, you can only have like so much energy in the room.
Right.
And I felt like there was a lot of energy during that match on Raw. Like if you rewatch the match, you maybe could predict that Sasha was going to win because of just like the energy in the room.
Yeah, because a lot of people were telling me that why are we invested, because the title's not going to change hands. And then all of a sudden, it changed hands.
Right. Exactly.
For what it was, I liked the match. I thought it was really well executed. Charlotte is probably the most athletic woman on the roster. I'd say she's one of the most athletic wrestlers on the roster, period. Because that moonsault of hers is brilliant. And the fact that she could pretty much land on her feet, jumping to the outside, that's nothing to sneeze at. So
no, she was amazing.
So
and I feel like she's gotten bigger.
What do you mean, like more muscular?
Yeah. Like she looks like she's gotten bigger. Like even bigger, especially because everybody's like retweeting the four horsewomen photos. Like you can see like the difference between Charlotte then, Charlotte now.
Definitely. Or when she first started with like those early matches when she had the weird white boots and but the match itself, I gave it a great rating. I thought it was the match of the night. Sasha with the I want to say the organic emotion. It was as organic as possible as you can be, knowing that you were going to go over and finally live your childhood dream of being champion. But I even tweeted out when I saw Charlotte give that little smirk. She was proud of her friend. Let's be honest here. She was proud of her friend, even though she tried to stay in character.
I know. You can
do
see
a good job of it. But she was like happy. And I thought that was beautiful. Like I kind of shed a tear when that happened.
I mean, anytime that they break kayfabe and it feels organic and it feels real, like that's a treat for a true fan.
Right.
Like it gives you chills.
Exactly. And that's the thing.
About it.
Like I have it embedded in my head. I have Charlotte's reaction and just the look back, like, saying thank you.
Exactly. The look back.
And I'm just picturing it and thinking, you know what? That's how they care not only about the product, but they care about the performer. They care about each other.
They care about each other. I know. And like it puts so much dimension to the story, like these girls actually probably talk outside of the ring.
Right.
It's just any real wrestling fan just loves any chance that they get to see reality. You know what I mean? And in that moment, that's what we saw.
Right. Seeing behind the curtain, I think, is something we should be very privileged to know takes place. I know a lot of the older fans don't agree with it, with violating kayfabe, and no, it shatters the what is it? The suspension of disbelief.
Yeah.
I don't really care. I think it makes it more organic to know that these people are friends outside of the gimmick. That's just the new age that we live in now. And I think a lot of the old timers, anyone who was born in the 60s or anyone who was born in the early 70s, they have to start accepting the fact that kayfabe as they know it doesn't exist anymore.
It's a very flexible thing.
Yeah, it's very fluid. And
yes,
we should appreciate that.
So it says that you're presenting. Do you have any like buttons on your screen where you can like switch in between?
It just says I am presenting to everyone, and then there's a thing that says stop presenting. So I don't know what that really means. Hide participants. We were doing so good. Now we stopped it. Because
all I see is Damian presenting. So because now I'm looking at the YouTube video and it's just you. Okay, now you're not presenting.
Okay, so I turned it off. So to see if there was anything that popped up. Did anything pop up?
No.
Can you see me
Go
on
back.
YouTube?
I'm still seeing you on YouTube. Go back to presenting.
Okay.
Oh, now I'm presenting.
Yeah, everyone's presenting. I don't know what that means though.
in Gorilla World.
Oh, it means we're trying to get a mate? Nice.
Hang on. Okay, whatever. Let's just keep going.
Let's keep going. Whatever happens at this point.
Yes.
Okay. I wanted to, again, I'm trying to get our bearings back because we've been derailed. But the opening match of the show was the Fatal 4-Way with Finn, with Cesaro, with Sammy, and with KO, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I thought it was great. I thought it was action-packed. I thought it was everything a real in-ring wrestling fan, because that's how I try to pitch wrestling to people. I try to say to stop focusing on the circus atmosphere of it all, to start focusing on the in-ring product and see how, when it's done right, how great it is. And that is, that was a personification. I could even go with the main event with from Raw with Finn versus Roman. When you give matches time, they more often than not come out great.
Right.
If you try to slop together a 3-minute Divas match back in the day, you're going to get crap.
Yeah, I mean, you make it like a 20-minute match and you make it about wrestling. And then this is exactly what I was talking about when I referred to Ring of Honor or any of these indie shows that I go to. I don't know any of the storylines. I don't know who the wrestlers are. I don't know what they're trying to show me. So I'm watching it for pure wrestling, and that's what I see. And I feel like a new viewer could have tuned into those matches on Monday and just enjoyed it for the pure wrestling.
And that's what we did.
I mean, and as somebody who does watch WWE every week, that's how they made it possible for you to do that, because there really was no storyline. It was just these 4 guys in a match. Let's see what they can do. Let's see Finn and impress the crowd.
Okay. I'm thinking again to Finn's debut. The biggest complaint I got was he didn't come out with his demon paint. They're nitpicking, because that didn't matter to me. I actually like the fact that he had his leather jacket and he was looking like the cool guy, like the new age Fonz that just showed up and was just like, hey, what's up? Yeah, this is who I am, and I'm Irish, and I have this cool ass accent. I'm better than you because I have a beard.
Right.
That was okay. Right? Am I wrong?
No, it was totally fine, because again, I go back to that argument of we've been waiting for Finn for so long. The fans that know him have been waiting for him so long that it's like, I don't care if this is a slow burn, because if we need to introduce the new fans to Finn Balor as just Finn Balor for now, or Fergal Devitt or whatever, let's do that. And then let him reveal his demon side at the right time.
Right.
So I didn't need all the fireworks last night. They definitely gave me the Finn debut that I was looking for. And so I'm not going to complain that we didn't get the whole shebang.
I'm laughing because it's true. It's like we didn't get what we would have gotten in NXT, but there's nothing wrong with that.
No, there's still, and then because this is an introduction. Imagine if you were one of those fans who's never seen Finn Balor before. So your first thoughts are like, oh, he's a lot smaller than everybody else. But now he's going to fight for the championship. So, there's some convincing that needs to be done for a new fan, for a child, for somebody who doesn't watch NXT. And so let's just give a little bit here and there and hold back and wait for the right time to reveal this other dimension, this other character that he has. In the meantime, people like us can tell other fans, it's like, no, you guys haven't seen the demon version of him. We can talk about it. We can tease it. WWE's been doing this for a while now, where they're letting the smart fans do some of the work for them. They didn't have to tell the story about the club, because I think fans like us were doing it for them. So I think, you know, it's a way to build the legend. You know,
Well,
so
I was going to say, you bring up an interesting point where people always try to talk about like word of mouth.
Yeah.
So do you think in this new era now, we're going to use a lot of word of mouth for fans like you and myself to be able to educate those who may not know about what's really happening in WWE if they don't have the network per se?
Yes, exactly. I think the WWE is utilizing social media and discussion boards and subreddits, having the fan do some of the work for them. They're using it as a device of promotion. You know, because like they know that fans want to talk about it. They know that fans want to go back and forth. They know that fans want to introduce their favorite wrestlers to other fans. And so it's like if the smart fans, the longtime fans are going to do some of the work for you, let them do it. You know, like that is the most organic way.
Okay.
So it's pretty interesting, I think.
It's a new take on storytelling.
It is. I mean, because it's the choose your own adventure, or, you know, like, because up to that point, I think pretend you're Vince, and you feel like you just have like no control. Like you know, like you want to do one thing or whatever, and the fans want one thing, but this is best for business. So you go back and forth, blah, blah, blah. So if you join the two and you make it sort of like an amalgamation where you're letting the fans sort of tell some of the story and you're telling some of the story and it becomes one, it's just more organic that way.
I never thought of it that way, but you know what? That actually might be better in the long run as a medium for people to understand these new wrestlers that they've never heard of before. Speaking of new wrestlers, let's go to SmackDown and focus on the fact that I brought it up earlier. All the women on the SmackDown roster were shoehorned into one segment that lasted, what, 5 minutes?
Yeah.
I couldn't stand that. I was like, okay, everybody got their music pop. They came down, they cut their 10-second promo, except for your favorite redheaded wrestler. And then that was it. It was like commercial. Wait, what? So there's no rhyme or reason. It's just to introduce you to who Alexa Bliss is, to who Eva Marie was, to who Carmella is. You know,
there was a rhyme and reason, and you're not going to like it. I mean, I feel like the point
was to introduce Eva Marie. Please don't tell me that.
Yes, it was. It really, really was. And I mean, look, the heat was electric, and your reaction right now is exactly what they wanted. You know, so they're taking a cue from the crowd, from the fans. They know that she has nuclear heat. And so what, you know, they're just going to give it to you exactly the way you thought they were going to give it to you. They're, you know, like it's like she's so much the female Roman Reigns. You know, it's like as much as the fans fought against him, WWE kept pushing him down our throats. And I think that's the way it's going to be with Eva Marie. Like the more that the heat is nuclear for her and people feel like she doesn't deserve this and they love Alexa Bliss and they love Carmella, they're going to keep putting Eva in your face to build that character. Because as much as they build up anybody, like a Sasha Banks, like heel heat is so much better than like, you know, babyface pops. And you know that as a wrestling fan.
Yeah, of course. A heel, a good heel will get you to despise them, but they also have to be good in the ring. And she's I'm sorry.
Have to? This is a new era.
Okay, The Miz is a lot better wrestler than Eva Marie can be on her best day. And he's the best heel with a microphone in his hands that the WWE has.
This is true. But I think in this, and I'm being serious now. We joke about the new era, but I think in this day and age for WWE, they don't have that time. So you pretty much have to throw people in and see what they do. And they've got something special with Eva, with this heat that they have with her. And so maybe she's not ready in the ring, but it's like, let's use her now and see if she can like live up to her potential. You know what I mean? Like they're in a time where they're throwing everything against the wall, seeing what sticks. And you can't cultivate talent the way that you used to. You can't like hide people and let them build their skills and things like that. You're pretty much just throwing people in and seeing if they succeed. So the way that they're pushing Eva is not a guarantee that 2 years from now she's going to be the champion. She could screw it up. She could pull a Roman Reigns. She could just not develop the way they want her to develop, and then they'll pull her back. But for right now, I feel like they're definitely riding the wave of heat that she has. And if she actually lives up to the hype, then like good for them, good for everybody. If she doesn't, then we just push someone else to the deep end of the pool.
So you think she's the first one of the SmackDown ladies to be pushed?
I think if you had to line up the ladies and see who's getting the most reaction, not babyface pops, not heel heat, just reaction. Like who elicits the most reaction out of the audience? You have to go with Eva, whether she's a better, a good technical wrestler or not. Just imagine, like when you're hustling, you just got to go with the hottest product. It might not be your best product, but like it's the one that's going to put butts in the seats and what's going to like drive internet traffic and chatter and everything.
She ain't going to put no butts in the seats. Let's just put it like that.
But I mean, okay, how about this? It makes butts stand out of their seats because they are like standing up to boo her.
I'm thinking, can a butt actually stand? But I get what you're saying.
Well, I know that's not a good comparison. But anyway, the point is, I think if you just had to measure reaction, she elicits the most reaction, and so let's strike while the iron's hot. Her persona will never be as big as it is right now, whether she's good in the ring or not.
So, okay, using this model, do you even remotely stick her in the ring at all? Or do you just let her tease that she's going to get in the ring, let the heat be nuclear before she even steps foot in the ring? Like, can they continue to tease this? And I'm thinking, okay, I'm booking here on the fly. And I know you hate that, but it just occurred to me. They'll tease her in-ring debut for so long that she'll be included in like a triple threat match for like the number one contendership. She'll spend the whole match outside the ring waiting to pick her spot, a la The Miz does. And then as the two people beat each other to the pillar and the post, she'll jump in, steal the pin, and secure her number one ranking or whatever, number one contendership. Like that's what I see.
Right. So it will depend on one thing. If she keeps that heat, like if they keep holding her back and like just teasing us with little like appearances here and there where she's upstaging people who we know are much better, and she maintains that nuclear heat, then yeah, if they're smart, they will hold back until the very last minute, because that is the way to utilize this kind of situation to your advantage if you're the WWE, because if every time she's on screen, whether she's doing nothing, you get mad, right? And now it's like the fact that they have that power over you is insane. And so it's like, imagine the reaction you're going to have when she gets that number one contender spot. Like you are going to freak out, so it's just like, I felt like it was definitely all about her. And the reason, even just in terms of like production and literary devices and things that they did, the fact that she didn't talk is what told me that segment was about her. Because everyone else had the mic, everyone else got to say something, and she just stood there and like did her little thing. And I'm like, this is all about her. And
didn't her announcer kind of sound like the guy from Crime Time? The announcer from Crime Time back in the day? I said he
sounded like the narrator from Epcot.
Oh yeah, Disney Illumination.
Right, exactly. Because it wasn't like a cool like action movie VO. It was kind of like an old man telling you about like the presidents of yore, like so it was such a contrast to what you were seeing in person and on the screen. So I all of it was on purpose. It's like, have her come out, not talk, have her do her thing. Have this super old, like Darth Vader sounding man do her like VO, because even the dialogue that he was saying was made for you to roll your eyes as hard as you could.
Oh, and I rolled my eyes. Yeah.
Right. If you listen to the dialogue, he's like, everybody stand up for the greatest performer that's ever. I mean, it was just amazing. Whoever booked that knows what they're doing. And if the heat stays this way, I hope they keep doing it because it's pretty brilliant. You know, like the fact that you're just so mad is exactly why they're doing it. So it's like, it's going to stop once you stop freaking out.
So once I stop caring, then it'll get better?
For you. But
no.
that's not what happened with Roman Reigns. Though look, like same thing. It didn't matter what he did. Like the heat just kept getting like more and more nuclear with him. Right? Like whether he was on TV, was not on TV or whatever, like people just kept hating. And that's the model that they're following with Eva Marie. Now you know what it feels like to be a Roman Reigns hater.
Because I never was a Roman Reigns hater. I was just a hater of creative. Yeah.
Right. Exactly.
So now maybe my problem is not with Eva Marie. It's actually with creative.
Hey, I mean, maybe it's with yourself. Like
you're supposed to be on my side, by the way.
Stop being a hater, man.
I'm hating. I don't like the broad. She shows up on my TV screen. It's like, get off my TV screen. Nobody likes you. Go away.
Someone just said that we need a chat room. And I don't know. Okay. I don't know.
I just popped out a chat, but I don't know how people are supposed to join it. Hold on. Choose links. Smiley face. I wish there was a way I could just invite everybody.
I wish there was a way that we knew how to do this.
Beside the point. That's beside the point.
Let me see. Control room.
Yeah, I gave you access to the control room.
Not really. It's not doing much.
We tried.
Okay. Anyway, let's keep
the momentum going here.
Yeah.
All right. Is there anything from SmackDown you really did like?
Look, I love the Eva Marie spot. I missed the first 10 minutes. And huge shout out. Sorry, I'm getting distracted here. To Spencer Williams because he hooked me up. I'm not going to go into very much detail, but he hooked me up. And so I was able to watch SmackDown about 10, 15 minutes late. So I didn't see the Shelton Benjamin thing that everybody was talking about.
Yeah.
Like, did they announce it or was it off air?
No, it was a vignette, and you hear his voiceover saying, "I'm coming back," and I'm like, it's Shelton. Nice, great.
Yeah, I mean, that was a surprise to me. So I didn't experience it live. I mean, I feel like you guys didn't get much information either. So it's pretty much like a big question mark how in what capacity he's going to be back. It sounds like.
Immediately people were thinking, oh, he's going to feud with American Alpha.
Or join American Alpha, you know, like that would be amazing.
Do they need him in American Alpha?
I just kind of like that like pairing up like the Bob Backlund and make Darren Young great again. You could have Shelton Benjamin come in and be like, hey, look, you guys are great, but let me show you how it's done.
But I'm better than you.
Maybe. I don't know. So are you expecting him to come back as a heel or a face?
Does it matter?
I think it matters. If he's coming back to pair with American Alpha and be like this like good guy mentor. Yeah. Because I think we're getting different shades with Bob Backlund and Darren Young where that's not like completely, they're not like 100% babyface. Okay. Like there's definitely something going on here where, he's like doing the chicken wing and like he's snapping and all this different stuff. And I think there's going to be a heel turn at some point in that storyline. And
by the way, I did call that. Remember, I did call the snap moment. Yeah.
Right. Because you can't have those like crazy vignettes and not like have at some point one of those two snap. So say eventually that team turns into a heel a heel team, you can't have like two almost concurrent storylines where like they're both heels. You know what I mean? Like we're like Shelton Benjamin's making American Alpha great and Bob Backlund's making Darren Young great. Like I see it like as a mentor-mentee situation. Like I don't see Shelton Benjamin coming in and being like feuding with them. I see him as coming in and saying like, you know, I used to be the big dog, you know, like we have the same background. Let me show you a little bit of like how this is done.
Yeah, it was like I was you, so this is me now.
Right.
Okay.
I mean, would you like to see them as a face stable?
American Alpha and Shelton?
Yeah.
You know what? Here's the thing.
I feel like you're thinking too much about this.
No, I'm not. I'm really not. I don't really. I want American Alpha to debut. I just want to see good wrestling. That's all I care about. I don't care if you're heel. I don't care if you're face.
Yeah.
But do I think long term that American Alpha can be a face team in the big leagues? No, I honestly think they're made to be heels.
Really?
I think
that is so weird.
If you take the Kurt Angle route and say, I am a technical wrestler, I am a wrestler, not a sports entertainer, or with Chad Gable saying, I'm a former Olympian, you know, sort of like Dolph Ziggler when he talks about Kent State, things like that. That makes you hate them because they're something you're not. They're athletes. They are Olympic level athletes. So right there, that is grounds to hate on them. That's what they were supposed to do in NXT. It was just the fact that NXT is so wrestling based that they love them.
Okay, I'm gonna go back. For one thing, I think Kurt Angle was a special talent. The fact that he was able to turn heel that way and be such an effective heel is insane. I don't know if we're gonna see something like that again. And saying that American Alpha has the possibility of doing that is a big job, I feel like, for them. You know, like, but I think what you're also describing to me is a heel in the way that John Cena's a heel. Because I could see American Alpha going the John Cena route where they're just always goody two-shoes. And then eventually people do hate them for like not evolving and just being what they are. So then you still have the kids who are like,
we love American Alpha. Yeah.
Right. And then you have like you and me who are like, oh God, this is so dumb now. You know? So, I mean, that's the thing. I definitely see them being like the tag team version of John Cena. Sorry.
I would have never thought that, but thank you for putting that in the universe.
Yeah, because the thing is that I feel like that's the only route that they can go. It's like they're always the good guys, but then maybe like sometimes people hate them. Because I think if you wanted to go with like an eternally face tag team, Enzo and Cass come to mind, but I think they can slip between heel and face pretty easily.
They can slip to heel really quick. Yeah.
Right, exactly. But American Alpha, it takes a lot of nuance. You know, and that's what I'm trying to say is Kurt Angle did a lot to turn that character heel. And I don't know if people can replicate that. What Kurt Angle did was really special.
Of course, he's a once in a generation talent.
Right.
I'm not going to lie and say he isn't. He is.
Yeah. So because it's easy for you on paper to be like, oh, perfect, American Alpha just like pulls a Kurt Angle. But
no. I'm just talking about from the braggart standpoint, just like being very braggadocious with what's going on. Not to actually be Kurt Angle, because that won't work.
Yeah.
You know, think about it like this. Wrestling fans want to hate the guy that's better than them. Especially if they talk about how much they're better than you.
So that's how you see the heel turn going.
Yes.
I feel like they're going to do that, but still have smiles on their faces.
Which makes you hate them more.
I really do. I see them as the John Cena tag team.
So Survivor Series next year, you're gonna have American Alpha and John Cena team up.
Ooh, I actually don't want. That's too much. That's too much like goody two shoes patriotism for me.
Oh, and then you can have Apollo Crews join, and it's Team Smiley.
Oh my God, I don't want that. So. Like what's happening with you and Eva, as you're describing that to me, is what's happening with me.
Can you please stop saying her name on the podcast?
That, like, what you described to me, American Alpha, John Cena, and Apollo Crews is the grossest thing I can think of.
That's the grossest thing you can think
That's
of?
not the grossest thing. If you know me on Twitter, you know that's not the grossest thing.
I mean, in wrestling lexicon, is that the grossest thing you can judge? By the way, where can people find you on Twitter?
Oh, I'm at the Marky Smark.
That's
and
right.
You're at Dare to be Damian.
Exactly. DARE number 2 letter B DAMIAN. Son of the devil. Yeah, yes. Son of the devil. IAN. Exactly. I know we've been trying to really piece this one together, and we're sorry. I want to apologize to the audience. This was a trial by fire, but I want to finish off on 2 things. I want to talk about Brock Lesnar because you brought up a very interesting point off air about why Brock is probably okay getting by on not getting a wellness violation with WWE versus getting zapped by UFC. Would you care to expound upon that?
Right. And so my company works with contractors, and I deal with a lot of the contracts for the contractors. And you need to have a business associate agreement, which is probably what a lot of the wrestlers have. But you also have a statement of work or a scope of work that says that you're doing this work for the company as a contractor. Right. And so I imagine the way that Brock's contract looked like, he was working with WWE up until, the end of WrestleMania. And then between WrestleMania and SummerSlam, he was not under contract with them. So technically he was not doing work for them in that time. And hence he's not subject to the wellness policy or the rules or things like that. Like it only pertains, he only falls under that jurisdiction when he's actively working for the WWE. Okay. That's what I would imagine his contract looks like. So maybe his contract goes from, it went from like January to April. And then another contract started again that will start now with SummerSlam. And so he has the freedom to do whatever he wants in that time frame, including get busted by USADA or fight in UFC or whatever, because he's just contracted with them. He is part-time. He's not a full-time employee with WWE. He has the power to do other things outside of WWE, and I'm sure he probably structured his contract in a way that if he did want to go back to UFC, he had those months in between. Because there was rumors that his contract had a stipulation about Fedor. So I imagine he put those months in between so that he could train for a UFC match if it came up. Okay. Hopefully that makes sense.
No, it makes perfect sense. But for me, it's more, I didn't know that. So before you even mentioned it off air, I told you I was completely taken aback by that because I didn't know that was the case. It was like, not to use roiding terminology, but if you cycle off working for WWE while you're training for UFC, are you still subject to the same slings and arrows and the testing and things like that? Because like you said, he wasn't working for them. Maybe it's on a date by date, a date by date contract where he's not supposed to work for a month straight. He just works those 3 events and that's when he works for them.
Or it's like project by project. Like, if his like WrestleMania is a project and SummerSlam is a project, like anything within those realms falls under WWE's jurisdiction, but anything outside of that doesn't. So, I mean, it just depends on the contract. You can get really specific here. There are things that contractors can't touch and things that they're only supposed to work on and et cetera, et cetera. So I could see some contract that says, between April and August, what he does is totally up to him and not being regulated by the WWE.
Right. So if anyone out there, I know a lot of people were confused as to why Brock couldn't get zapped by the wellness policy, but he can get, but like you said, zapped by the USADA. That's why. That could be a possible reason. I didn't know about it. I feel a lot more educated about that. So thank you very much for that. So
yeah, it's the whole independent contractor thing that we talked about last week with unions and things like that. It's like contracts can be whatever, if people have power like Brock has a lot of power. He is one of the few people that can draw up a contract that fits him to a T. Whereas if you're Adam Rose or whatever, you pretty much are taking whatever contract they put in front of you and you're signing it because you need to feed your family.
And you're saying, thank you very much, WWE. That's exactly what I want.
Exactly. It's bargaining power. I mean, it's like that in sports.
Okay. So where does Brock go? I don't want to future prognosticate too much, but do you think WWE would want to sign Brock after his current deal runs out, given the current situation?
I think WWE would, yes. Whether Brock would, but I think WWE would because he's a proven draw for them, and because it is sports entertainment. Whatever happens to him outside the ring can totally be twisted and turned around into a storyline. So, like maybe for the first time, we get a underdog Brock. Here's the beast, fresh off of getting busted, for juicing or whatever. Like you can turn it into whatever storyline you want. That's the beauty of wrestling and professional wrestling and WWE is that like whatever the story is, you can use it to your advantage if you're creative enough.
All right. Well, going forward, this doesn't make me more interested in the program between him and Randy Orton. It makes me care less. Also, when I saw Orton this past Tuesday, he didn't look good in the ring. He only did 2 moves.
Right.
He literally did 2 RKOs and catch a beatdown. That was it.
Yeah.
And I get why they were doing it. They were trying to display the RKO as this equalizer to Suplex City. But I think you were the one that said it. Randy was pale AF. He needed a tan.
Yeah.
He looked a little small.
Yeah. No, I didn't say any of those things. The only thing that I said.
Well, that wasn't you? I could have sworn that was you.
I know. Sounds like something I would say. No, I made a comment that I found it interesting that Randy just interrupts talk shows now. So I made a joke that he should go on Maury and just RKO dudes who are the father, who are deemed to be the father.
You are the father, RKO.
Yeah, so it's just oh, by the way, you're the father. Here's an RKO out of nowhere. So it's I don't know. I mean, I get it. It compared to everything else that we saw, the Brock Randy Orton storyline isn't that great. But I was sort of entertained. I like the fact that he's trying to sell Viper Bill and I don't know. I still had fun with it.
Is that something you're down with? Are you down with Viperville?
I love making fun of Viperville.
Okay.
Because it was so easy. I mean, it's just because the second he said it, people were tweeting, please don't make Viperville a thing.
A thing.
No. People were and so that's exactly, if you're WWE, that's the reaction you want. You want people freaking out and saying do not want. It's it's much better than oh, I'm sleeping. This is so boring.
Considering,
so,
considering that it was boring.
Right.
Randy on the mic that's never been a strong suit.
No.
I don't know what to make of this feud. I'm not really excited about it.
It's fine. We've talked about this a million times on our podcast. Sometimes you have to have filler to distract people into watching the stuff they're supposed to watch. And so it's okay, Brock versus Randy is a big name. But really we care about Finn and Seth, right?
I care about Finn and Seth. Personally, right, exactly. I'm looking forward to that match. That for me is exciting. Yeah.
I mean, Randy versus Brock is just taking 2 veterans, 2 big names and sticking them on the card so that they're on the card. There are some people that are excited about it. That's fine. I mean, I'd rather have that as a filler match than, Breezango versus Golden Truth.
Not for nothing, I'd rather have Breezango versus the Busos again so I can make fun of the Busos.
Right.
Because you know what? I like Breezango. They work for me. I don't know why they work for me, but they work for me.
No, they're fantastic. I would liken it to, so UFC 200 didn't have any filler. So if we live in a world where Randy Orton and Brock Lesnar aren't considered filler, then consider the SummerSlam card to be something that's completely stacked.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So I mean, that's the only way I can rationalize it. They have to put those guys on the card. You know,
Obviously.
like people, they have to put them on the card. So why don't put them against each other and, you know, let's see what they do. It's still going to be more entertaining than like what else other matches would be considered filler.
Are you looking forward to Dean versus Dolph? Because I am.
So it grew on me. Obviously after the shock of Dolph winning, because I tweeted immediately, what the fuck? And you know, it just, and I saw like the stare down, and the stare down was kind of awkward. And I tweeted that they both looked like creepy uncles, like maybe like both of them were your creepy uncles. Like if you had two, it'd be, one would look like Dolph and one would look like Dean. And so it's just the stare down was a little awkward. I didn't feel tension. And then the more that I watched it, I don't know, like, and the more I thought about it, I was like, I kind of do want to see this, because it got recontextualized for me after seeing people's reactions. Because I had, you know, you had half of the internet wrestling community saying this is a joke, and then you had the other half saying, look, this is finally the push that Ziggler's been waiting for, like his whole career. And so you had people selling me on the fact that, like, look, this is something worth watching. These are two guys that we've cheered on, you know, for most of their careers. Why not them?
Right. And it goes back to what we were saying earlier about giving the fans what they thought they wanted. But when you got it, you didn't like it, because he went over AJ, he went over Cena, he went over Bray. So you would have thought right before the match started, the pecking order, Dolph probably would have been the one in the match to take the pin. And he winds up winning the match.
Right. It's a completely like unexpected thing. Like that's why we watch wrestling, is to be surprised.
To be shocked and awed and inspired. And that's the whole point.
To like, you know, have it initiate reaction in you, emotion.
Right. To elicit some sort of response that you and I obviously feel some type of way, but we're able to conceptualize it better than the vast majority of the IWC, because they wanted to burn villages down with pitchforks and everything yesterday. And like you said, 24 hours later, you're more on board with it now than you were before.
Right. And that's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
I mean, then this is why I say keep an open mind, because it's like once you marry yourself to one idea of how you want things to be, a lot of your enjoyment is lost. You know what I mean? So if you keep an open mind and you tell yourself that anything is possible, you're going to have more fun.
Right.
For sure.
And I had a lot of fun Monday, Tuesday watching wrestling. And it hasn't been that way in a long time, when I've watched both SmackDown and Raw and have equally enjoyed myself and enjoyed the product. So you know what? I'm going open-minded.
Segue!
Best foot forward. But you don't have to announce the segues, Trina.
We're just teaching. I ruined it.
101. You don't have to segue. To enjoyment.
It is. I ruined it.
Speaking of enjoying wrestling for what it is, one of us took another trip to another show.
Yeah.
A show I've never heard of until this past weekend. I believe it's AAW?
AAW.
Okay, so explain that.
So I need to like Google what AAW stands for. I think it's like American something wrestling, but it's a wrestling promotion based out of Chicago, Illinois. And having started the wrestling internet thing, I've made a lot of local friends who also do wrestling podcasting and things like that. And so on the suggestion of Chuck Colorado over at Layeth the Mat, I attended my first AAW show. He was telling me that I would love it, you know, things like that. And I'm like, okay, sure, why not? You know, and then I had other people, Spencer Williams, also telling me to go. And so I was like, let's see what this is about. I literally didn't even know what the main event was. I didn't know who the wrestlers were on the roster. I didn't know what I was going to see. All that I knew was that I was walking into a show that my wrestling friends thought that I would enjoy. And so I was willing to take that chance. And from the very second that I like got out of my car, to go into the quote unquote venue. This was unlike anything else I'd ever experienced before. So Bourbon Street or 115 Bourbon Street, down in like South Chicago, where it's pretty far. It took me about like 45 minutes to get out there from downtown Chicago. Has this gigantic bar, one of those bars where there's like a room just for, like dining, and then there's a room with a stage for live bands, and then there's another room. So just like a multi faceted, venue. So I walk in and I'm like, this place is huge. It's just like, here's some bar stuff, whatever. And I saw what I thought maybe were wrestling fans, followed them. And it opened up into this back room that was just typically would be like a musical venue for like a band. So there was like columns and stuff in the middle of the room that they covered up with, with like tapestry and stuff. And so definitely not your normal wrestling venue. There are definitely venues out there that are made for indie wrestling. Turner Ballroom in Milwaukee is one of my favorites, because every view is awesome. But I would have to say the way that they do this, because it is like a converted like musical venue, you have like a very short stage where the wrestlers walk out onto and then into the ring, and there are like obstructed views. So it felt like an indie show. Like this didn't feel like WWE, at like Rosemont Horizon or whatever, like whatever it's called now. And so again, you walk in and it's just like chairs, and then you had people in the standing room only. So felt very indie already. And then the first match was Candice LeRae and Colt Cabana, which I'd been waiting to see Candice LeRae forever, because I went to Shimmer specifically to see her, and she happened to be injured at the time. So I walked in as she was doing a pussyplex. So it's her.
Time out. What is a pussyplex?
So if she teams a lot with Joey Ryan, and
which is her fiance, right?
No, they're just tag team partners. They're just tag team partners. Yeah. Laura Claire James, I think, is Joey Ryan's fiance, and Candice LeRae is actually engaged to Johnny Gargano.
Oh, that's who it is. Got it.
Yes, and they have the cutest video about their love story. It's like 15 minutes long, well shot, just really, really cute. But I've been dying to see her because Joey Ryan has the penis plex, so big, so strong. And so Candice LeRae came up with her version where she suplexes or flips dudes with her, area. So, I walked in and I was like, oh my God, I get to see the pussyplex like up front, up close. And like, and Colt Cabana's selling it. And it was just an amazing thing to walk into. I was like, okay, this is setting the tone for the night. I'm seeing Candice LeRae, who is widely considered to be the best female wrestler out there, in WWE or like indies, like whatever. She's just phenomenal. And Colt Cabana and everybody's just cheering. Like people loved the shtick. You know what I mean? Like the crowd was super into it. Like I was walking into a hot crowd that was like all about the thing that they were watching. Next match was, holy cow, Zack Sabre Jr. and Cedric Alexander. And I'm like, I can't believe I'm watching what I'm watching, and then like Marty Skrull, and like, it's just like all these wrestlers that I have been hearing about and have been dying to see live, and they just kept showing up. Like Phoenix was there, and it's like, Pentagon Jr. and it's like all these names that I've heard about from my wrestling friends for months and months and months. It's like, oh, if you've never seen Zack Sabre Jr. wrestle, you have to see him wrestle. Oh, if you've never seen Cedric Alexander, you need to see him wrestle. And I got to see these guys wrestle live right in front of me and put on an amazing show. It was just pure wrestling. The crowd was super into it. I think I told you off air, but I'm going to reiterate. It's the opposite of a WWE crowd that's trying to put themselves over. We've talked about Tim Kale's article about the entitled fan, who only cares about putting themselves over and chanting and their own enjoyment and things like that. But this crowd was the complete opposite. They were cheering for everything. They loved everything they were seeing. When there was a big move set coming up, they shushed each other. So it was like everybody, like, it's kind of like in football, like when your team is going to kick a field goal or an extra point or something, like everybody's like, calm down, like let's give the kicker like the quiet he needs. That's how this audience was. It's like, hey, these performers are going to give you their signature move. Everybody shut the fuck up and watch this and appreciate it. Like that's what I felt like. This was a crowd that loved what they were seeing and appreciated what they were seeing. And all the WWE events that I've ever been to, I've never seen a unified crowd like that.
Would you think that we would ever get a unified crowd in the WWE at this rate?
No, I mean, because it's just
worth a shot.
Right, exactly. I mean, I think that's the beauty of indie wrestling, and I don't know if I'm getting it right. I'm supposed to write a review about AEW, and I'm sort of flip-flopping on it and just like biding my time because I'm trying to get it right. I want to do it justice. I want people like me who have been WWE marks their whole lives, who've never seen indie wrestling before, to want to see it. So I want to sell it as much as I can and do justice by it for sure. I don't think it's a special thing, I think a good indie wrestling crowd and a good indie wrestling show is a special thing. And when you are WWE and you're producing, 3 or 4 shows a week and things like that, and you're on TV, it's like, it's just, what you lose.
Right. It's you lose that closeness. You lose that ability to connect on a more, I guess, close level. Mm-hmm. And like you said, at an indie show, and I remember this back from the ECW days, when you're in that confined space, it's a passionate fan base that wants good in-ring action and cares about the performers. Whereas you go to a WCW back in the day or a WWE event back in the day, even currently, you're just there to see your people. Right. You don't give a crap about Mark Henry. You don't give a crap about Jack Swagger, but you care about John Cena. You care about Sasha Banks. You go to an indie show, from the guys who are the curtain jerkers to the main event, you are invested in the story that they're telling in the ring. You're invested in the people that you're watching, and you're invested in the fluidity of the moveset. And I feel like this is something Tim Cale would talk about.
Right, exactly.
And I enjoy that. I enjoy the fact that there's a fluidity to it all. We're all in this together. We're here to enjoy the show. It's like medieval times. Yeah. If you go to medieval times, are you going to complain because the Black Knight killed your guy? No, because it's part of the show. So just enjoy the show, eat the food, and enjoy yourself. No,
it's beautiful. I mean, it's a community agreeing to suspend their disbelief all at the same time and enjoy what they're seeing.
Right.
It's amazing. If you've ever been to a college football game and you have a whole student section doing the same like chants and moves and dances and things like that, that's what going to a good indie show feels like. It's like we don't know each other, but we're all here for the same thing and we all love the same thing. And that's what wrestling's about to me.
And I think I agree with you. And it goes back to what I said last week about the house show. Nobody's there to get their sign on TV. Nobody's there to get on TV and get their 5 seconds of fame. It's just to enjoy what we're watching. And that's the bottom line, because that's why we're here.
Oh, it was really just like an amazing experience. And, and so these are all guys that I've been hearing about forever and ever and ever. And I finally got to see them live. It was Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa's last match actually in AAW, because, now they're doing the cruiserweight stuff and they're just going to do a lot more in WWE. So that was contractually their last match as a tag team. So they did a farewell match. And at one point, the match just ended up turned into like a slow motion wrestling match. Like it was like an improv show. It's like they were kind of like wrestling each other, and then like something funny happened, and then suddenly they're all just doing things in slow motion. And people in the crowd were doing it too. They were like, yay. So like for a good 3 or 4 minutes, the wrestlers in the ring were doing slow motion. The audience was doing slow motion. Like we were all in it, like participating in this this funny gimmick. And we all appreciated it. Nobody booed. Nobody broke kayfabe in those 4 or 5 minutes.
Okay.
Everybody was sold. Like the crowd's doing this and they're like, yay, both these guys, both these guys. Just amazing. Like you never see that in WWE. It was so pure and beautiful. Like, I loved it. I loved it so much. It was amazing. And AEW, I think, is releasing the DVD for the show pretty soon. So like if you see me fangirling about this, you can watch it on your own and just like feel the magic.
Because you're fangirling. It's pretty evident you're fangirling.
Oh, I'm just like, I'm so in love. And, you know, it sucks because I was in Chicago for 3 years and AAW puts on a show every month and I had no idea. So it's like, I could have been going to these things like forever and ever and ever. And who knows, I would maybe like never watch WWE again. I just would have been like an AAW mark for the rest of my life. But now I'm not in Chicago, and so I'm going to try and fly back for as many AAW shows as I can. What was interesting is that Pentagon Jr. actually won the championship against Sami Callihan. Spoiler alert for anybody who's going to watch the DVD. And Tommaso Ciampa came out and challenged him. And so we're going to get Pentagon Jr. versus Tommaso Ciampa September 1st at the Berwyn Eagles Club, where I did my indie debut.
Berwyn in the house.
So an even smaller venue than Bourbon Street, 115 Bourbon Street. So we're you know, like there's a bunch of us in Chicago that are going to try and get front row seats. And so, you know, what I'm telling you is about an intimate situation. Berwyn Eagles Club, even way more intimate. There's maybe only like 5 rows. For like each
and everyone's
section.
On top of each other, literally.
Yes, exactly. So it's like I cannot wait. Like I have a wedding to go to that weekend, and I'm flying to Chicago out of the way to see that show, and then going on to the wedding after that. Nice. Like that's how excited I am about this. And what, the tickets are like $20. I mean, this guys, why have I not known about indie wrestling like all of my life? I mean, it's just amazing.
Oh, I got a simple answer for that, actually. We've been indoctrinized by the WWE and WCW, where we didn't even think that indie wrestling was cool up until what, 3-4 years ago?
Right, exactly. And I mean, you know, I was trying to write this review and you know, like I sort of got an introduction to it because my brother corrected me. Like I was talking to a non-wrestling audience and I called NXT indie wrestling, and he got really pissed off at me. He was like, don't call it indie wrestling. It's not indie wrestling. And I was just like, whoa, hang on. So that's where I got to see like how, you know, invested this fan base is. And it piqued my interest. And then I went to an indie show. I went to Anarchy Pro to see Joey Ryan. And then, you know, I did my own indie debut, and it's just been a like, you know, such a super fast introduction to this world that I just want to make sure that I'm paying attention and I'm paying homage the right way. You know, instead of just like, blah, I love it. Like, so yeah. I'm a dork.
I know, but this is what makes us a great team, because we're both dorks, but it works. We don't take ourselves that seriously. I mean, at least I don't. I'm an asshole, so I don't take myself. But okay, before we wrap up, because it's already 11 o'clock here on the East Coast, we're sorry, guys. We tried our best to do this live streaming version of the show. It totally went off the rails. We don't even know if we're going to keep this in the can. We may redo this tomorrow morning as just a podcast. A condensed version of the podcast, but maybe you guys want to keep it. I don't know. So you can tweet us at the Last Mark Podcast. Tweet me at Dare to Be Damian. Tweet Trina at the Marky Smark. If you want us to keep it just like a blooper reel, fine, we'll keep it, and then we'll be back to our regularly scheduled, normalized podcasting techniques next week.
No, we should try it again next week.
Oh, okay, because I feel like now this is working. Now that we have it running, better.
We can just keep failing until we get it right.
No, but that's the thing. Like, we got it right now, but it's the end of the show. So it's like, great. We did all this great stuff, and people were like writing in and writing me on Facebook and on Twitter. And it's just like, the show's over. Sorry, guys. So with that being said, roll call, real quick. Roll call again. Mile High Laz, Demon Diva from the Fans Podcast. Shout out to the Podcast Network. AF the Matt Down, La Parka Mark, Who else am I forgetting? Who am I forgetting?
Mm,
Brad L,
yes.
Chadwick, Mimi, Matt Men,
Mm,
Treehouse, David Payne from No DQ, Chuck Colorado, like we said, lay off the mat down.
mhm.
Matt Reed. Anyone else?
My
Eli
MVP for the week,
Eli
Spencer
Carrasco.
Williams.
Yeah, Eli
Yes.
also Eli Carrasco because
Eli is always with us. He's our ride or die for sure. But I have
yeah.
to give special props to Spencer Williams, because he is one of the people that told me to go to AAW. He is helping conspire with me to get front row seats, if not stage seats, for the next AAW show. And he hooked me up on Tuesday with SmackDown when I have no furniture in my apartment and I have nothing and I just wanted to watch SmackDown, and he made it possible. So huge shout out to Spencer Williams. You are a big fan and I really appreciate it.
So thank you, Spencer. I appreciate that as our podcast partner. I appreciate that. Shout out to our producer, freelance Mikey.
Mm-hmm.
He does great work. We love him. You know what? A lot of people, even I listened to last week's episode, and that intro song kind of had me like, what the hell am I listening to? You know, but he does great work. So we owe him a big debt of gratitude for working with us and being a part of the team. And thank you, Trina, for, pretty much coming on after moving with no furniture, and you barely have the dogs with you. And
Yeah.
it's just, nothing going on. You haven't eaten dinner.
Yeah,
I didn't eat dinner. We hungry.
I know, because, guys, I'm going to say this. Damian is a professional. He went to professional broadcast school. He's probably super embarrassed by all the technical difficulties that we had.
I'm really embarrassed, actually.
I think he's probably not going to even want to keep this online. But I like to think that our fans appreciate us and maybe hopefully found it charming. It's just like, you love to see your favorite show's blooper reel. This is our blooper reel in real time.
In real time, with my ugly ass Venom hat and my Kevin Owens fight t-shirt.
Right, exactly.
You have your soft shirt, SAWFT soft. By the way, I did find a guy who's willing to make me a SAWLT.
Yeah.
Shirt. So surprise in future episodes that pops up, and I'm rocking that. So again, thank you all. Again, I am a perfectionist. I am a trained, broadcaster. It bothers me that we had to do this, and I feel bad for the audience. So I'm sorry. I'm sorry to everyone else who expected award-winning production, and you got the blooper reel. But we'll do better next time. I promise. Right? Right, Trina? We're going to do better next time?
Sure, why not?
Sure, why not? Again, the Last Mark podcast on Twitter. Find us on iTunes. Find us on SoundCloud. You could tweet Trina at the Marky Smark, where she is an aspiring wrestling comedian. Notice I said wrestling comedian, as well as podcaster. Yours truly, aka Hire Damian G, with the hashtag. Train radio host with the Broadcasters Mentoring Group. I owe Dan Schwartzman, radio guy here in New York City, all the credit in the world for training me in 6 months to be somewhat coherent and somewhat capable to host an actual show. So when we do roll calls, those are the people we'd like to thank. So next week, or even tomorrow, we might come back with a more updated episode based on what we talked about. Please get Eve Marie off my TV screen unless it's for you know what. All right? So with that, bye, guys.
Bye, guys.